Hi, welcome to Baking with Jay+Dan. I'm Jay.
I'm Dan. Sometimes people get us confused, so if it happens to you, don't worry.
Today we're going to make the ultimate chocolate chip cookie.
This is one of our favorite things. We end up having this almost every night. Whoops, I wasn't supposed to say that. And it's real simple ingredients that you might already have in your pantry.
Yeah.
And we'll put the whole list toward the end of the video.
All right, so the first ingredients are 2 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature. It's very important that it's at room temperature so that everything gets incorporated and it's a nice even mixed batter. Oops, I got a little on the end there. So you just want to let the butter mix for like a couple of seconds just to loosen it up.
And the next step would be your brown sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of white sugar. Throw those together. And you're going to mix that in right into that softened butter.
Good. All right, I'm going to turn it off. Just scrape it down. Just give it a quick whirl.
Oh. I said I wasn't going to do dance moves in the back of the frame, sorry. So once that's come together, you have 2 whole eggs. Just beat them up a little bit in the measuring cup. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla to that. And we can pour that probably in 2 slow additions. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And second addition can go in. That could go
Yeah, we're just going to scrape it down. It's always important to scrape it down in between. Again, just to make sure the ingredients are incorporated. Okay, so now the butter and the sugars are fully incorporated with the eggs and the vanilla.
Yeah, it's nice and fluffy. And we get to move over to the dry ingredients. You have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, throw that in, and 3/4 teaspoon baking soda. Just drop that right into your measuring cup if it wants to go there. Whisk it together. Just make sure it's nicely whisked out. You don't need to sift the flour. You can distribute that on parchment paper or a baking sheet like this. I would put out half of it and then move on to the star ingredient, the chocolate chips. This is 2 12-ounce packages of semi-sweet chocolate chips.
A lot of chips.
Let's see if we can, we've got runaway chips. Hold on. Okay. I'm back. And then put your remaining flour on top of that. And you're ready to go into the wet ingredients. This way there's a light dusting on the chips and they won't glob together when they bake.
All right, so we also like to do these in thirds. So just put a little bit of the flour chocolate chip mixture in, mix it up, then put a little bit more, then mix it up, just so that it's not overmixed too much. So you just want to incorporate it so it just comes together. You don't want to overmix it too much.
Now we get to form the batter. Look at that. You get to form the batter into a log. Using plastic wrap, pull it out nice and long sheets on the counter. If you use 2, you can stagger one side and then the other. And you're going to want to use a spatula or a little scraper for the batter. Ooh, let's drop this. Let's see.
It's hard to work.
There. Okay. Here's your batter. Sometimes there's a little unincorporated flour at the bottom. Don't worry, you'll just grab that up. This looks great today. It's a little sticky on the sticky side, but that makes a nice cookie. Then you start to form your log. Use the side of the bowl if you need to scrape it down. Get the rough shape there. Catch it and bounce it on the counter a little bit to get the air pockets out. Fold it down. Squeeze in on the sides. Let's see. Try to roll it out a bit. Just gently, because we don't want to keep working the flour. Flip it under to the bottom, and there's the log that gets to go in the freezer. So when you come home, I'm massaging it. When you come home at night, you can just scoop out a couple, 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah, we usually like to let it freeze for a minimum of 1 hour or overnight.
All right, so we'll put this in the freezer and we'll meet you back after a while. So we're back and we have a late night craving for chocolate chip cookies, and here's how we're gonna deal with it.
Yum! So the batter has been freezing for at least an hour or preferably overnight.
You bring out the log, then grab Grandma's trusty ice cream scoop. It makes perfect cookies every time. We're just gonna put those out onto the baking sheet with the silicone pad. Oh, wait a minute. That's all right. What's it?
Yeah, the silicone sheet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, silicone pad, I think is more of a drag queen reference. We're just doing a few because we want to have a snack, or we're going to save the rest for later.
Right, so this goes into an oven that's been preheated at 350 degrees, and we usually like to bake it between 10 to 12 minutes, depending if you want a crunchy chocolate chip or chewy chocolate chip.
And here's the final product.
Yum!
Let them cool on the rack.
Put them on a plate, or just shove them in your mouth. Mm.
Okay. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.
Bye!